I agree that in our quest to lead a party, we have to demonstrate some sense of modesty, wisdom, and mutual respect to each other. In as much as I do agree that certain things ought to be said in a more polite or more refined way, I am also of the view that we have to do the balancing act so that at the end of the day, we also do not institutionalize a certain culture of suppression that suppresses honest and open conversations on the realities that affects us as a people. And you will agree with me, and of course, emphasis has to be made that we should be slow and we should not allow anyone to blackmail us into silence. Because the reality remains that Ghana's political space and landscape, whether we like it or not, is influenced by these factors that we are discussing. It goes even beyond the political space or aspects of our life. I give you one example. As I sit here, if I meet a young Muslim girl and proposes to her that I want to marry her, chances are that she will turn me down. Why? Because she's of the view that when she takes me home as a Christian, that disparity may not be successful or occasion a successful relationship. So in this same country, as we continue our political process, interestingly, Ashanti region, for instance, has been voting for the MPP for the past, 32 years or so, since 92. If you look at voter region, they have also been having their power. Of course, they are skilled ones. As we speak, if you go to the VIP station and 100 buses move, chances are that they will make a prayer in the bus and then request God to take the professional driver away from the steer so that the Holy Spirit himself come and take the vehicle and drive to Kumasi. What is the principle and the underlying foundation that I'm building? The principle and the underlying foundation that I'm building is that whether we like it or not, there is one reality that we have to confront with. And at no point should we allow ourselves to be blackmailed or fear or shy away from discussing them, because these are aspects that or variables that affect every aspect of our life. We are a people of culture, we are a people of values, we are a people of religion. And so we need to have broader and open conversations about some of these things and not shy away from that, especially when in a political context like this, you have other people having had the opportunity or benefited from the same things that they may be complaining of. I give you an example, and three key examples. Recall the deaconization campaign that was run by Dr. Baumia prior to the 2023 primaries, where an impression was created that the MPP is an Akan party, and he, coming from the northern part of the country, is the only person that will be able to remove that tag when he has the opportunity. He campaigned on it and benefited of it. Secondly, I give you one example of the Dombo argument that was strongly advanced by the Dr. Baumia campaign team, for instance. Recall, and emphasis has to be made, that Mr. Dombo, the highly respected Dombo, is from the upper west part of the country. Dr. Baumia is from northeast. Different tribes, different regions, but yet still, they created some form of a rotational leadership kind of process where they argued strongly that Kufuor came from the Busia end, Akufo-Addo came from the Dankwa end, and it was the time for people coming from the northern part of the country. Again, he benefited from it. Is that not the case? Then the last part, when even beyond the premise, he made a very strong case as to why he has to be presented, and for the obvious reason of bringing in the Zongo and the Muslim votes, and that Mahama, not being a Muslim, will not be able to bring the Zongo votes, which in any way they are predominantly Muslims. He made all these arguments. It worked in his favor, won the primaries, only to be backfire only at the general election. So the principle is this: in this game of politics, you cannot approbate and reprobate. You cannot set standards, and when people are measuring you on the standards that you set, then you play the victim role, create an impression as though people are using religion and tribe against you, whilst in the reverse, you have been the highest beneficiary of this whole tribal.
You thought Dr. Baumia is playing the victim here?
I mean...
is that your thinking?
No, I mean, you see, this game is a strategy. And that is the only cast left for him. You see, the point I want to raise is that unless you want to be dishonest and play the ostriches, this country, since 92, Ashanti region has been voting for the MPP. Do you think it's magic? Clearly no. Voter region has always been voting for the NDC. Why? You think, the MPP has literally not done anything in the voter region, or the vice versa? They do. But we call it identity politics. Of course, when it is exploited in a very crude manner, that is where it becomes problematic. Recently, just last week, 11 members of parliament from the northern part of the country were mobilized to the northern part of the country to go and campaign for Dr. Bawumia. I don't have a problem when they tell, there are people that, well, he's one of us, vote for us. There is no problem with that. But as soon as you do that, then you should not gag anybody. And again, you should give the opportunity to any other person to also go and stand within his people and tell them that, well, vote for me, because if you vote for this reason, based on the realities on the ground, it's not going to work for us as a party. Okay. It's a game of strategy.
Okay.
So for me, I feel that it's a conversation that we need to have it in a very honest mood, but I also have to be dispassionate and not necessarily frontal. From the Agyapong camp, we are of the view that if you look at the stage that the party is, this was a party that had a very good...
But you have for me in 30 seconds. Yeah, I need to go for a break.
Yeah, sure. So if you look at the current state of the party, in the spirit of party unity, in the spirit of party branding, in the spirit of party revival, at least, if not for any reason, we need a new face. And not somebody who, for the past 16 years, has been around, marketed so highly for 16 years now, yes, still was rejected by the people, which presupposes that, yes, he was marketed, but the people are essentially telling us that the product was not quality.
Okay.
And for that matter, we need to cause a change.
Okay.
When you invited us here, you could have invited us to discuss ideas on things we would do for the delegates, on things we would do for the people of this republic once we are privileged enough to lead this nation. That should have been the discussion. That should have been what we spent time on. But what are we doing? We are discussing tribe. We are discussing religion, because a group of people have made it their point to pursue tribal bigotry and religious bigotry. Now, let me wrap up. All three of us here are beneficiaries of defeated campaigns that were revived. All three of us, from Pius to Kwesi to myself, all three of us are beneficiaries of defeated campaigns that were revived. In fact, Pius's boss was an architect in the 3 elections that brought Akufo-Addo power. He was a key architect. Kwesi's boss was a key architect in the 3 elections that brought Akufo-Addo to power. Out of the 3, we lost 2. But those architects saw it wise to continue to pursue, to continue to fight harder, so success becomes a reality. What changed? The beneficiary of defeated campaigns who didn't give up, all of a sudden want us to give up on one person because of his tribe, on one person because of his religion. That is irresponsible, that is unfair, that is not right, that is not what Ghana is about. And we must end and stop tribal bigotry. We must end and stop irresponsible campaign that divides us. It is not right.
Kofi, thank you. Pius.
Well, I think that Kofi is trying to push the second chance argument. Kofi must avert his minds to the performance of His Excellency Akufo-Addo the first time we presented him in 2008. Ghanaians had to vote 3 times. First round, he was winning with 49.7%. Second round, when even the NDC held parliamentary majority, Akufo-Addo, Atamils came, former president Atamils came past him, but even then we needed a 3rd round. So we are repeating candidates not just for the sake of repeating. And we cannot develop a culture in the party to say that once we have a candidate, let us keep repeating him until such a time that he wins. That is if he's going to win at the end of the day after all. I think that's a very, very weak argument. The only reason why candidate Akufo-Addo was repeated was based on the strength of his performance. Again, I agree that we probably should spend some more time discussing some germane issues, the issues that Dr. Brother Agyapong has been talking about, the issues of party unity and national unity, the issue of being able to create jobs. And he has shown at this personal level what he has been able to do.
That is going to create jobs for the Ghanaian youth.
But that is what the young people want. And importantly,
I'm running out of time.
Can they project my data?
Wants to project
my data. Just a quick one.
Data. Just a quick one.
Second chance.
Just 30 seconds.
Oh, you said 2 minutes.
What are you trying to tell us?
No, Sam, you said 2 minutes.
What are you trying to tell us? We need to wrap up.
If I project, you
we need
said
to
2
wrap
minutes.
up. Go ahead.
Be fair to me. Before people tag you that you are supposed to
go ahead.
I'm saying that.
What do you want to project?
I'm saying that second chances should not just be a reward for showing up. It should be contingent on performance and not necessarily for showing up. If you look at the data here, Adubuahene from 1.2 million, Kufuor first time 2.8 million, you realize that it's on the ascending trend. Then to John Kufuor second time 3.6 million, John Kufuor fourth time 4.5 million, Nana Akufo-Addo the first time, even won the first round. Nana Akufo-Addo the second time, even despite losing that election. Remember, 4 Supreme Court judges agreed with him that he had won. Then Nana Akufo-Addo, 5.2 million this time around, won. Nana Akufo-Addo, 5.8, 6.7, that is the 2020 election. And even in 2020, you realize that his popularity even went higher. Now, if you look at this graph, the principle or the point I want to make is that it's on the ascending throne. It is only Dr. Bawumia who reduced his boss vote to minus 31.3% from 6.7 million to 4.6 million. Interestingly, even though he said he's from the northern part of the country and even campaigned on that, at the northern level, he reduced his boss vote by 16.1%. You cannot say that we should just sweep this under the carpet in the name of a second chance. It will not work. We are going to interrogate the data. He's a data man. And I mean, for the first time, the data people don't want us to discuss data on their own performance. We won't. We'll make sure that the party survives.
You're still watching the point of view coming to.
We don't want that kind of thing. So
I'll let you. Unity is key. Kwesi, I'll let you come before I go for a break. You were disagreeing some of the things Kofi was saying.
Let me say that I can't pretend that, I mean, as a people, we should grow above and beyond religious and tribal politics. That I perfectly agree with the submission that he made. But let us strike a fine balance between that position and an attempt to blackmail all of us and gag us into silence, especially when history has the records that Dr. Bawumia, his candidate, has been the highest beneficiary of tribal and religious politics. He's talking about the General Secretary citing reasons of why we lost. I mean, I don't know whether Pius knows. I don't know.
Oh, this is
the first time that I'm hearing, because I thought that document was discreet, and it appears they are the only people who knows it. The first blame that they gave was that it was Kennedy Agyapong's utterances that caused us the defeat. Today, what has changed? The first blame that they gave was that Kennedy Agyapong's utterances was what caused us the defeat. Today, we are holding them to the standard that they themselves set, and it has become an issue. I agree. Tribal and religious politics should be eschewed from party politics. But that does not also necessarily suggest that when people had benefited from it, made serious comments in that regard. We are the benefiting from the deaconization campaign, benefiting that you are going to get all the Zongo votes, that the fact that we should vote for you because you're a Muslim, the fact that we should vote for you because you are not. I mean, there are records and history to this. You don't make all these comments and then later come and condemn the very offenses that you yourself has committed. That's why in my earlier presentation, I said you cannot approbate and reprobate. You cannot eat your cake and have it. And they cannot determine and define how any other person does his campaign.
Okay.
At the end of the day, sovereignty resides with the over 200,000 polling station executives. If they so believe that Dr. Bawumia deserves that second chance, I'm sure the conversation will come there. Fair deal. But the point is that it is not accurate that anybody is playing tribal politics. We have our message. Our message is that the grassroots ought to be taken care of. Our message is that we need to create more jobs.
Okay.
Our message is that there is a correlation between socioeconomic transformation and agriculture. And that correlation also exists between tourism and also socioeconomic transformation. Okay. And most importantly, that very broad conversation about decentralization. When I talk about decentralization, I'm not talking about local administration. I'm talking about practical decentralization, where, for instance, you move ministries from Accra to the other parts of the country.
Yes, hold on. I need to.
First of all, I'd like to put on record that Dr. Brian Agyapong has not made any tribal comments. He has not asked for persons of the party, the leadership of the party, delegates of the party, to vote for him on the basis of tribe or religion. He's not the one who's been making those comments. So he has not made any tribal comments and cannot be accused of making any tribal comments. What did Dr. Brian Agyapong say within the last couple of days as he has been engaging with the leadership of the party within closed doors? And this is not the first time that somebody has said the things that Dr. Brian Agyapong has said. See, the former flag bearer, former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia himself has made those comments. After the loss, the members of parliament of the NPP had a meeting at the Rock City Hotel, Dr. Brian Agyapong's hotel in Kwewu. Dr. Brian Agyapong himself was in attendance. And in trying to give reasons for our unprecedented, abysmal performance, the former Vice President, the former flag bearer himself admitted to the unfortunate and undesirable conflict in the Upper East region, the Kusasi-Mamprose conflict, and cited it as one of the reasons why. Was
it a public event?
It was a gathering of the party people. This was
with media presence.
Well, no, I'm not sure about media presence. No.
So if you say he publicly said that, as you are saying, people ask that what's the evidence that he really said it? Because if it was a closed-door meeting, then you treat it as such.
Well, but what Brian Agyapong is also reported to have said, which is essentially the same, was also said within the same context. We had met party leadership in closed door, and we're having a conversation. And so how that matter got out is a matter we can interrogate as the program proceeds. But I want to recall what Dr. Brian Agyapong said in the context of what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia himself said, which is that, like I said, the Kusasi-Mamprose conflict was one of the reasons why we fared terribly in certain parts of the country. And one thing I like about Dr. Bawumia, and I also like about Dr. Brian, is that many a time they like to speak to the data. And so Dr. Brian Agyapong aligned with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on that matter because the data supports that assertion. I could give you a few examples. If you look at the MPP's performance in Binduri, Binduri is one of the constituencies that is under consideration. In 2020, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo scored 10,148 votes in Binduri. In the same Binduri in 2024, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia scored 2,067, a net loss of over 8,000 votes. I'll give you another constituency like, say, Zibila constituency. In 2020, Akufo-Addo made 15,256 votes. And then in 2024, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia made in Zibila 4,121, a net loss again of 10,000 and over. There's many people, because I have received many calls from persons who have admired Dr. Brian's candidness, his boldness, and his ability to tell the truth so that the party can fashion out solutions to the problems of the party. Without a doubt, the party is not in a good place at this moment. Historic loss in 2024 puts us in a very small minority in parliament, and presidential elections we lost by unprecedented margins in our country's history. So we are not in a good place. And if the MPP really wants to get back to power, then we have to do a lot of honest self-introspection. It mustn't be all about blaming other persons. It mustn't be all about denial. It is about honest self-introspections. And we must admit where our shortcomings and our shortfalls are. We hold the view.
Okay, I'm sure if I give Bo 3 hours, we will not end the show. It's been another exciting.